A course is launched by the LMS. It fires up a web browser session. It's typically in a child frame or popped out into a new window. So how a SCORM course flows? As we're getting into this will be on a little more on the technical side. A course is launched by the LMS. It fires up a web browser session. It's typically in a child frame or popped out into a new window. And the very first thing a course does is initialize. It talks to the player hands it a name or a learner ID, and the course begins to flow, ideally picking up from the bookmark or starting on slide number 1. Immediately, it has to set a status, and then it will start to bookmark as the learner clicks through all of their slides. When you reach a relevant topic like score, some people just put a score of 100 at the end because some LMSs assume completion status and score are kind of intertwined. Others, for pedagogical reasons, never want to send a score. I don't know what is best in these moments. It's up to the person designing the course, but typically sharing a score, even if you don't really need it because it's just a completion type of experience, is still helpful because LMSs often have canned reports that include score. And so having it complete, but marking it as 0% as a score might trigger the LMS's standard reports to show them as failed. And all we cared about completion status, but as a learner, I'd kind of get my feelings hurt if I did a good job and I failed. So often sending a score is necessary, even if it's just a complete, incomplete type of learning situation. I also think time's important. It's often overlooked, but if I spent 2.5 hours taking my training and Tim Edwards spent 2.5 minutes, that's interesting. So we want to be sure that you're sending through total time as a part of that because most LMSs report on it by default. We also then have the interactions. Talked about them a little bit so far, but being able to understand why you scored the way you did and seeing those things is common for any type of quiz and testing. And then committing that data. It is the course's responsibility to tell the LMS how the learner did, and being sure that on that elegant exit, you're committing that data back to the LMS's standard reports is super, super important. Closing and ending that session, whether they're finished or whether they're in the middle, is one of the elegant parts of instructional design that will help LMSs roll up the right reporting information to manage a big group of learners. It's very important.